The Dodgers, Teoscar Hernandez, a match made in heaven, and heaven will continue for at least 3 more years. Let's talk about it live on Locked On Dodgers.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Dodger fans, this is Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Remember, this show is free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube simply by searching for Locked On Dodgers. This is the second part of a 1-1 that Clint and I hashed out, negotiated, hard-fought negotiations, much like the Dodgers and Teoscar Hernandez. And like the Dodgers and Teoscar Hernandez, Clint and I were able to come to an agreement. We just did about 25 minutes over on All Dodgers, and then we spent a couple minutes turning our hats around. Now we are here at Locked On Dodgers. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And Clint, I don't know if FanDuel has an option to bet on which team a free agent will sign with. I'm guessing they probably do. And I absolutely would have put my $5 bet on Teoscar Hernandez with the Dodgers, because that always seemed like a sure thing to me. And then I would have got my $250 in bonus bets. You and I, we just got done talking over at your site. I told you I was always, I don't remember, I think it said 173% sure that Teoscar Hernandez was coming back to the Dodgers. Even though I was never nervous, it still feels real good to have it done. Once Jeff Passan tweeted it, we know Jeff is always right. Yeah. Boom, Passan tweeted it, and it just fills a hole that, not an insurmountable hole, but there would have been a hole on this Dodgers team if Teo hadn't come back.
It would have been a hole in our heart, I think, bigger than on the roster in the lineup. But that gaping void. Oh wait, I thought it's supposed to be a PC show. What would have been missing in that cleanup spot without the return of Teoscar Hernandez? Listen, a great deal, 3 years, $66 million, 4th-year option at $15 million. There's some deferred money. There's, of course, it's the Dodgers, so of course, there's also some signing bonus. Said this a number of times, it's a great deal for the Dodgers. It feels like a really good deal for Teoscar Hernandez, and it's a great day for Dodgers fans who get their cleanup guy back, get ideally their right fielder back, maybe their left fielder, but they also get a World Series champion and somebody that we know this team was missing before he joined it. A guy with a clutch factor. He has that clutch gene built into him, and to get him there batting behind Mookie or Shohei, Mookie, Freddie, it's going to feel good for the next 3, maybe 4 years.
Yeah, you look at this potential lineup. You got Shohei, Mookie, Freddie, Teoscar, Muncy, Smith. That's your top 6, and any one of those guys is a legitimate cleanup hitter.
It's ridiculous.
And then after that, it's like Lux, Edman, and and then whoever's playing the other outfield spot, Michael Conforto, Andy Pajes, one of those guys. Like, this is a legit superstar lineup, and we saw last year, or earlier this year, last season, that you can win a World Series with a legit lineup, even if your pitching falls apart, comes apart at the seams. I've been listening to this podcast. It's called Dodger Blue Dream. And it's like a real-time documentary this guy did throughout the 2024 season. And it's kind of fun. I'm into October. Like, the Dodgers are currently down 2-1 to the Padres in the NLDS where I'm at right now. And it's kind of fun listening and reliving that. But one of the things that he said a couple times, his name's Richard Parks. He said it a couple times during the regular season episodes, was you just can't win a World Series without great starting pitching. And then I'm like, oh, Richard, if only you knew that these very Dodgers you're talking about are about to do that. I mean, yeah, the Dodgers did get some good pitching performance. Dodgers won the World Series because their hitters hit and their bullpen. And, with what they've done this offseason already, fortifying the starting rotation with Blake Snell, fortifying the bullpen with Blake Trinan, and then fortifying the lineup now with Teoscar Hernandez, Michael Conforto, extending Tommy Edman. Yeah. The Dodgers are setting themselves up very well to have a very good chance at being the first team in quarter of a century to repeat as World Series champions.
Hey, they were already favorites to run it back before this deal. This deal has to only help them. And what we talked about a good amount on my show just a couple minutes ago is the offseason is so far from over. More deals are coming. More moves are going to happen. Kike Hernandez said openly, just like Teo did, I would love to go back to that team. I'd love to come back. There's no team that is better equipped to win now and keep winning some baseball games and World Series than the Dodgers. It's a destination. This is a destination people want to go to. If you want to win baseball games, you want to win championships, even if your team have 9 misfortunes, you got all these pitchers falling apart. What, 15 players? Well, I forgot how many we ended the season with. Pitchers on the injured list.
109.
Oh, I don't think that's the right number. I don't think that's the right number.
I'm not good with numbers.
It feels, yeah. Remember, this is the.
We saved the math for your show.
This is the hats forward show, so you got to be more accurate with it. But they just they give themselves another opportunity to sustain, to survive, to be very good at winning baseball games and championships. That's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna keep it real easy, stupid, simple. It's a reaction show, guys. We're supposed to be here celebrating Teo coming back to LA.
Yeah, we talked on your show about how easy Andrew Friedman's sales pitch must have been.
Yeah.
And one part I forgot of that sales pitch is we just showed you. We had the same conversation a year ago, Teoscar, and then we proved that everything we said is the truth. Like, this is, you have your proof of concept. Last year, it was theoretical. Last year, it was you're trying to sell a World Series chance as a team that has been knocked out in the NLDS 2 years in a row. This year, it's straight up, look, we know how to win a World Series championship to the extent that anyone can know how to win a World Series championship. The way you do it is you put together as good a team as possible, hope for good health, hope for, too many guys not to slump at the same time. And when that happens, boom, 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 you win a World Series. And, Blake Snell said it in his press conference about the chance to win is what drew him to the Dodgers. Everybody except for Zach Greinke in the history of the world, when they signed with the Dodgers, the first thing they mentioned is it's a great place to have a chance to win. And, to give Greinke a little slack, back then when he signed, the Dodgers were just at the very beginning of this stretch of dominance. I think even Zach Greinke now would say, hey, I wanted a chance to win. And the fact that they offered me more money than every other team helped too.
Yeah.
But, the Dodgers give every player the best chance to win. And that's why, Roki Sasaki, why would he choose anybody other than the Dodgers? Tanner Scott, why would he choose anybody other than the Dodgers? Obviously, if with Tanner Scott, there's money things, he's going to be looking for a big contract, and maybe the Dodgers aren't willing to even come close to what he wants. But if they come close, and even if it's just, hey, look, you're going to get an extra $500,000 in your World Series share, so
that's
count
fair.
that in. Of course, you have to work for that. You don't get October's off like you do when you play for the Marlins. But we got most of October off last year playing for the Padres. I don't know if you remember that. But yeah, the Dodgers are a place to be. Clint, I want to talk with you about deferred money. So we're going to do that when we come back, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about deferred money. So thank you all for being here. Please keep it locked on Dodgers. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. As soon as I turn off that banner, FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So if you're looking for a safe bet for a $500 bet, or for a $5 bet that you can win and get your $250 in bonus bets, like I've been telling you, I've been looking at the NFL schedule this weekend. The Buffalo Bills against the New York Jets. The Bills are currently minus 520 favorites. That's gotten even more in favor of the Bills since last night, the last time I read this ad. So put $5 on the Bills this weekend. If they can somehow eke out a win against the mighty New York Jets, then you get $250 in bonus bets. They have a ton of different ways for you to pick up that W. If you don't just want to bet straight money line like that, you can bet on which players score a touchdown, how many points each team will score. So all sorts of options. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We are back. Thank you again for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen, or in this case, your bonus listen. We don't usually do a show on Fridays, not Friday evening anyway, afternoon, but we are because Teoscar Hernandez is back with the Dodgers. Appreciate all you who are with us over on All Dodgers for the first part of this 1-1. Now here we are on Locked On Dodgers. And Clint, the Dodgers do a lot of deferred money contracts, and I've seen some people grumbling about it, and a lot of people grumble about it, but some people even say it's so irresponsible. The Dodgers, they're just pushing all this debt onto the next ownership group, this ownership group, thinking it's not ever going to come to them. And for me, I think there's some teams that do use deferred money that way. We know that Frank McCourt was a big fan of not necessarily deferred money, but doing everything possible to screw the team over financially. But what people don't realize about this Dodgers ownership group is the way they bought the Dodgers is they got rich being really smart with money. And it reminds me of back in 2018, I was looking to buy a new car. And we needed a car. Our kids were getting freakishly tall, and so the SUV we had wasn't big enough for them, so we needed to get a Suburban. So I went to the dealership. I found the Suburban that I liked. And I had saved up for it. I was ready to pay cash for the Suburban. And then the dealership told me we're actually doing 6 years, no interest. And I'm like, okay, why would I give you all this money right now when I could give you a little bit and pay the same amount over 6 years? And I could be doing smart things with that money I'm not giving to you and end up coming out ahead. That's what the Dodgers are doing here. What I'm saying is Mark Walter, Jeff Snider, same financial mind. But this is how the Dodgers are using the deferred money is to make wise investments. And it's not going to bite anybody. The Dodgers are going to come so far out ahead on all of these deals.
Yeah, I mean, the Shohei Ohtani deal is what makes everything they're doing now possible, because if they're we hear a lot, we see a lot of headlines, we see a lot of weak takes on the social media talking about how the Dodgers print money or whatever. Yeah, they kind of do, maybe, but most of that comes from the fact that they're able to market the absolute hell out of Shohei Ohtani. Him and Yoshinobu Yamamoto just helped this team make moves like this, print money as it were. And they're not sitting here giving Shohei $2 million a year, deferring $23 million on top of the deferred $8 million with Teo from last year. They're not spending all of that money wildly. They're investing it. There's ways you can make that money help pay for itself down the road. They're not going to be hurting for money at any point. And also the idea of passing it on or passing off this debt to different ownership. The Guggenheim ownership group is never going to get rid of this money. Why would
they sell the team?
It's a money tree. If it is going to be something that prints money, I mean, they're able to every couple of years go invest $100 million in renovating Dodger Stadium so it gets better and better, and third oldest stadium, but arguably one of the top 3 stadiums in all of baseball. I won't go as far as to say all of sports, but still. EB, perfect. They're going to be owners for a very, very long time. All of them. Somebody may pass away, somebody may buy themselves out, but the majority of the controlling interest and the interest in winning baseball games is going to be there at the top. It's not going to be like what we saw with the Padres last year when Peter Seidler passed away and they had to kind of scramble and figure some things out. Dodgers are in a great spot for generations to come.
Yeah. Jeff Passan on Twitter, he said the Los Angeles Dodgers are a machine. Not only do they print cash, their willingness to spend it in pursuit of winning is unmatched. They put their money where their mouth is. Others could benefit greatly from the same approach. They choose not to. And some whiner replied, others don't put contracts on layaway, Jeff. And Passan, because he's Passan, he doesn't let idiot comments go unnoticed. He just replied, he said, Bobby Bonilla, Ken Griffey Jr., Francisco Lindor, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Christian Yelich, and plenty of others deferred money. Arizona's ownership needed to sell in 2004 because it deferred too much. Before you complain, understand history a little. It's not hard. And it's not hard. And that's, I think it's because of the magnitude of Ohtani's deferred amount, which is unprecedented and unlikely to be duplicated. Nobody else is going to defer that much money because nobody else is the sponsorship, endorsement unicorn that Shohei Ohtani is. Shohei Ohtani can say, look, he could have deferred 100% of his salary. He wouldn't have noticed. His friends stole $15 million from him and he didn't even notice because he has so much money. That the account that Ipe had access to was his salary account.
Yeah.
Shohei has so much money in all his other accounts, he never even noticed that money was missing from his salary account. And I think Ipe was the only person upset about Shohei deferring money because that meant that his golden goose was going to stop laying eggs for him to steal from. But the fact is, nobody else is going to do that. Nobody else is going to say, sure, I'll defer 97% of my deal because nobody else is in a position to be able to do that. And so people whining about that just need to realize that's a one-time thing.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways. For me, just for a second, I would say I feel basically like Shohei because I got the PayPal card finally after getting money through PayPal through all these years, doing like this internet stuff. And I feel so cool because I just have that as like my keep away money. And then I have regular flesh job money going to my bank account because I've been a one bank account guy for a while now. So now I feel pretty pimp, I guess somebody might say. I just wanted to throw that out there. I know exactly how Shohei Ohtani feels. We're basically the same person is what I'm saying. Two, isn't it insane that the Dodgers are the only one that have ever come up with the idea of deferring money on contracts? And three, great comment here from Dan. So did you do smart things with that money for 6 years, Jeff? I'm most interested in that last one. How did you pay it forward, getting that bigger SUV, but paying it over 6 years?
My question for Dan is, can you not see all the bobbleheads behind me?
That's fair.
Obviously, I did smart things with the money. No, I mean, the money was already in investments. I would have pulled it out of my investments to buy the Suburban. Instead, I left it in the investments. And yeah, you know what? I definitely came out ahead in that deal. And the Dodgers are definitely even better at money than I am. They're going to be just fine. And Major League Baseball's rules require them. They have to start putting away the money, I think in another year. I think 2 years in, they have to start putting away the money for the deferrals. And so, but I mean, Shohei's already paid for himself.
Who was it? It was not Mark Walter, the other guy. Stan Kasten was on foul territory shortly after the World Series, or maybe it was shortly before. And he was asked, of course, a money question, asked about, how much Shohei is making for the team. And Stan isn't going to tell you anything, of course, but what he did say, which I thought was funny, and it's definitely a lot more, but what he said, tongue in cheek, is let's just say that Shohei is more than paid for his contract this year, just in the amount of money that he's bringing in. So that's at least $2 million plus in deferrals, or not in deferrals, in sponsorship, ad revenue, whatever it is, endorsement deals coming in, just because they employ Shohei Ohtani. This team is not going to be hurting for money for a very, very long time. And
I suspect what Stan Kasten was talking about was the full $70 million. I think because you look at all these endorsements, all these sponsorships that the Dodgers have sold, there's so much money coming in, even, all the Ohtani jerseys they sold.
There's not a single sponsor on that stadium. What are you talking about, Jeff?
Not a single one.
Not one.
There's more to talk about with Teoscar Hernandez. It's an exciting time for us as Dodger fans. We thank all of you for being here with us. I'm going to read one more ad and then we're going to come back. So thank you for making us your bonus listen today, and please keep it locked on Dodgers. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Look, I love sports. I love concerts. I love comedy shows. The thing they all have in common is buying tickets. And that means the other thing they have in common is you can find the best price on Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I used Game Time a couple weeks ago. We wanted to buy some NBA tickets to go take our boys to a Utah Jazz game for Christmas. So we went on Game Time, found the best deal. I went on some of the other sites, compared. Turns out the best deal was on Game Time. So that's where I went. You also have the option of turning on all-in pricing, which will show you the total prices up front with no surprise fees at checkout. And with the Game Time guarantee, you'll always get the lowest price, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets to your favorite events with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. We are back. Clint, I want to apologize for spelling out that promo code in the last ad. I know that I promised no math, and I think I probably promised no spelling too. So, but that's why I did it for you. Didn't ask you to do it. I want to thank Clint, my buddy Clint Pasillas, for being here with me. Those of you who are with us, we were over on Clint's show for a half hour. Now here we are on Locked On Dodgers for a half hour, celebrating the news that Teoscar Hernandez is still, once again, however you want to phrase it, he is a Dodger. He was never on any other team in between. So I'm going to say still, he is still a Dodger, and it's great news.
He posted it on his Instagram story himself. I'm back. He is back. He didn't go anywhere, but he is back, and that's great. And I wanted to go back to something you said in the first block of the show. You had mentioned the Dodgers give Teoscar and other teams the best chance at winning a World Series. I wrote down Teo gives the Dodgers the best chance of winning a World Series again because of, I'm going to point out something I said on the other show, something I said already here earlier, that clutch factor. He has that clutch gene. And, I know you rewatch the World Series, frequently enough, especially a Game 5, maybe a Game 1. I'm still waiting for the DVD, by the way. When is that coming out? MLB, like hook your boy up here. But the Dodgers were not a prolific offense in that series against the New York Yankees. In fact, they were quite a bit of a dud at different points in time, but it came down to clutch hits in big moments, and few more clutch than Teo's game tying a double off the wall in that 5-run fifth inning, in the infamous fifth inning. That type of thing was the thing that had been missing from the Dodgers in postseasons past, particularly the previous 3 postseasons. And to know that how much they were struggling with starting pitching. They didn't really have healthy arms there. They had to lean so much on the bullpen, and you had to hope you got enough out of your offense, which they did. You take Teo out of that lineup and you're throwing Andy Pajes in there. It's a different look. And I don't think the Dodgers advance to take Teo out of that lineup, and they don't advance to that World Series last year. And that's where I go back to them being just a perfect match. They both help each other get to that goal of winning that piece of metal, baby. Let's do it.
Absolutely, for sure. And you think about that Game 5, at that fifth inning, it was still 5-0 Yankees after the errors were done. It was still 5-1 after Garrett Cole didn't cover first base and Anthony Rizzo didn't choose to pretend to be an athlete. It took a clutch hit from Freddie Freeman and a clutch hit from Teoscar Hernandez. And throughout the postseason, throughout the regular season, Teo hit after hit after hit. When Vince and I the other day, we did our season in review, the regular season and the postseason. Teo's name kept coming up on these moments. Like, I think of Game 5 against the Padres. Teo's home run in that game wasn't the game winner, but how much better did it feel to be up 2-0 instead of 1-0, knowing that, okay, even if Fernando Tatis runs into one like he does so often, we're still up 2-1. That second one, that insurance run, that the game time double in Game 5 against the Yankees, just hit after hit in the postseason, in the regular season, the dude just comes up clutch. And I don't believe in clutch ability, but But Teo is trying to make me a believer, because the fact is there's no reason with as bad as Teo looks sometimes on swings, there's no way in the world he should have gotten a 2-run double off Garrett Cole in that situation. There's no way in the world he should have hit a home run on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball against the Rockies in the 9th inning in that game. There's just these pitches that he hits sometimes like, I get the hanging curveball from you, Darvish, hitting that thing out. Yes, but some of the home runs he hits is like, if it's not clutch, I don't know what it could be,
Yeah, there's something, Kike talks about it, having just a different mindset. I don't know that like Teoscar and Kike are so close. They're so similar in that, Teo's bad in the regular season because he's kind of always there. He seems to be a streaky hitter, kind of slumpy hitter here and there. But when the lights are brightest, and we saw it in the home run derby, we saw it in the World Series, we saw it at different points in the season. When the lights are brightest, Teoscar Hernandez finds a way to step up in those big moments and produce. And it's not just big swings; it's always like swinging big. He's not going for the fences, and that's what I think is the most sexy about Teoscar Hernandez. And I say that because somebody in the chat was mentioning that their wife is very happy that Teo's back, and surprisingly,
dude,
it's not Nando.
His eyes, seriously.
He's a very pretty boy. He's a pretty man, but. Yeah, knowing that he understands how to when to go for broke, when to be chicks dig the long ball, but chicks also dig a single to over the second baseman, well executed hit to the right side, trying to pull one down the line, whatever it is. Like he has incredible bat control for somebody who still hits 260, 270. I don't think we're going to get, as good of a Teoscar Hernandez moving forward as we got in 2024, but he's still going to have those big moments, and he still makes the team that much better than they would have been without him. So love the move. I'll say it 500 more times. Love this move for both sides. Somebody had said, Fabian Ardaya, by the way, if you count last year's deal, it would be a 4-year, $89.5 million guaranteed deal for Teoscar Hernandez. And that's, he bet on himself and he won. I think he won.
The funny thing is, if the Dodgers had signed him last year for 4 years, $90 million, we would have been questioning it. Would have been like, seriously, for this guy? But now that he's been here, and I guess this is what I want to end on, Clint, is a little bit about how much Teoscar endeared himself to the Dodger faithful. The fact that he, everybody loves Teoscar, and he loves them right back. And some of it is, the fact that he's always smiling, the fact that he is genuinely you and I sit here and think, man, if I got paid that much money to play baseball, I would always be happy, And then you see people out there being grumpy, like Madison Bumgarner. What is so bad in your life that you have to be so angry all the time? Teoscar is the opposite of that. He is always happy. And I think that resonates with us as fans. And maybe even sometimes people think, well, people need to be more hard-nosed. We need that edge. You don't need the edge. You need the hits, And I don't care if you're smiling or frowning when you get a hit, as long as you get the hit. But Teo is more fun than just about anybody to cheer for.
I'll say, because I talked about this with Alana Rizzo on our Dodgers territory, because also I do another show, guys, in case you didn't know, check it out every Monday and Thursday. And I had mentioned that because her thing was when has a player endeared himself, just like you're saying, so quickly to a fan base? And I think it happened the second we saw him with a big smile on his face, his arm around Shohei, telling him, Buenos dias, Dodgers fans. That was it. That's where it was right there. It was the start of a beautiful love affair between, the Dodgers fans, Teoscar Hernandez. Shohei Ohtani does not hurt in that weird little, I guess I turned it into a 3-way, but still, it's the golden rule. I'm going to walk away from it, but still, Teo's back.
Walk away.
Oh, walk away. Bad. Listen, I demonetized.
But the fact is, there have been love affairs with other players that end quickly.
Yeah.
Teo performing on the field is why that love affair lasted all the way through and why everybody is so excited right now, because Teoscar Hernandez was a beast on the field last year and smiling, team leader, throwing sunflower seeds. I actually almost grabbed a bag of sunflower seeds to start the show with throwing sunflower seeds at the camera, but then my wife would have been mad when I made her clean them up.
I've got vitamin C drops. Does that work?
I've got cough drops here. I've also got a couple Tums here.
Now I got to clean that up.
Let's see if I can
Jeff.
hit the camera.
Oh, that's close.
Oh, I got it. All right. So
now we got to clean all this up.
They both landed on my desk.
Yeah. By the way, this was great. This sounds great on radio, guys. Make
For
sure
those
you
of
hit
you
that like button.
listening, just picture somebody throwing Tums at a camera. You just got the whole thing. Somebody with his hat forward, because this is Locked On Dodgers. Clint, I am glad that we were able to come to an agreement in these hard-fought negotiations to do this 1-on-1. This was a lot of fun. Talking about Teoscar Hernandez, I know for sure you and I both have a lot more words to say about Teoscar this offseason, because this is not we're excited for 5 minutes and then we move on to the next thing. This is building the excitement for the 2025 season. This right now is when we can actually say, okay, if the offseason is done, the Dodgers have a team that can repeat. I still think there's more coming, but this was the move. There are now no more gaping holes on the team.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of ways they can improve, and I think they will. The gaping holes have been filled, and Teoscar Hernandez was the last piece of that puzzle. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, just got to fill out the table with accoutrement, something pretty, maybe bring out some nice cutlery instead of using the paper plates and plastic forks, but it still gets done, the job done using paper plates and plastic forks. But the Dodgers have themselves a good meal set up for 2025.
And as you might have suspected, in a podcast with two guys who look like this, we end on a food analogy. Thank you, Clint. Thank you, those of us who are with us live. Thank you, those of you who listen after the fact. This is great news. Teoscar Hernandez back with the Dodgers for at least 3 more years, an option that I assume is a team option for a 4th year at a very reasonable cost. So we will get Teo for at least through, 2027, maybe 2028. Hopefully a few more World Series titles for Teoscar Hernandez. That'll do it for us. Any final thoughts, Clint? Or are we ending on the food analogy?
Back to back, baby. Let's do it.
Back to back, and then 4 more after that.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for making us your first listen. Thanks for being an everydayer. If you're not an everydayer, it's easy to become one. Just watch or listen every weekday morning. Make that easy on yourself by subscribing wherever you are, wherever you're watching or listening right now. Also, remember to check out Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Sports Los Angeles, 2 24/7 streaming channels on YouTube from the Locked On Podcast Network. Of course, check out All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas over on YouTube, where we are right now. And check out Dodgers Territory with Clint and Alana Rizzo. Always follow Clint on Twitter at RealFRG. I'm on Twitter at Snider. Vince is on Twitter at VinceSense91. Our show is on Twitter at Locked On Dodgers. DMs for all those accounts are open, so hit us up. You can also email us, lockedondodgers@gmail.com, or you can send us a voicemail or a text message at 323-863-LOCK, 5625. We are here every weekday morning. We hope you'll be here with us. When you get in your car or sit on your couch, tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Dodgers. And remember, you don't have to agree. You just have to listen. We will talk to you Sunday night.
Bye.